Alright, boys, welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about how I'd make 10k a month if I had to start again. So, if you're completely new here, you've not seen me before. Obviously this video is going to be about OFM, Onlyfans management. So I'm going to basically talk about what I'd do. Let's say my entire agency failed today and had to start from zero. This is what I'd do, and it's very simple in my opinion. Reaching 10k a month is it's really like the baby steps, to be honest, like of what's possible in this industry. But obviously, a lot of people don't know yet. So yeah, first of all, get a salary model. Obviously, percentage is still fine. A lot of people still do I have two percentage models still, but in general, I'd say salary is a lot more um worth actually doing now. Because let's say you're paying like a Argentinian girl or Colombian girl like 1k a month, or some people even pay less than that. Let's say you're paying them a salary like that. Everything from that point on is basically your profit. Obviously, like you're gonna have a chatting agency, or maybe you're gonna have your own chatters, and you're gonna be paying them some money, but it won't be a massive amount of what you're making, right? Like I'd say you're making 10k a month. Even if you're, even if you have a chatting agency, you're probably only gonna be paying them like 15 or 20%, and then like I said, if the salary is 1k, then that's like 70% of yours is profit, right? So it's really good. Um, and yeah, so that's why I prefer salary more. Obviously, especially when you're hitting like smaller numbers like 10k a month, um, you know, you actually see the profit more coming into your bank when it's a salary model. Whereas with a percentage model, if you're, 50-50 split, for example, 5k a month each, but then you're the one that has to pay a chatting, you're the one that has to pay your VAs, all of that stuff. After all the costs, you're probably only making like 2 or 3k a month. So yeah. Next thing is, once you actually have your model, but actually before I move on to that part, the way to get a model is through outreach, ads, or marketplace. Obviously, if you want to really be fast with it and not spend too much time trying to get a model, obviously ads or marketplace is the best option. But if you really don't have a lot of money yet to your name, then obviously just do outreach. The best option for a salary model, by the way, is if they're from like Colombia or Argentina, like fellow countries. So don't outreach to like American girls and offer them to only pay them like 1k a month, because obviously they wouldn't. Chances are they won't accept that. Um. So yeah. Next thing, like I said, is prepare the content. You need her to recreate weekly. So obviously, before you start the marketing, you're obviously gonna need a lot of content. Um. So for that first week, what you should be doing, like as soon as you sign her, is just do your own research and go on Reddit, go on Twitter, and basically just find the models that are either in the same niches or look similar in some sort of way. Um, and then just basically copy out content if you think it's good, or if that model's performing good, then obviously copy that content. Put it all into like a drive, a Google Drive, and then send that to the model saying like, hey, this is what we need for the week. Ideally, like as a minimum, I'd say like 50 photos and like a few videos, like 15 to 20 videos is a good amount to start with. Like that's enough to do, Reddit and Twitter. Yeah, and then depending on the work ethic, I'll do Instagram Reels, Reddit, and X/Twitter. So pretty much a lot of the time, salary models can be a little bit lazy. Not even like they want to be, but because obviously they're in a third world country, they live in a poorer country. So they also, on top of doing this, they also might have a job. They might even have two jobs, stuff like that. So they might just not have the time for it. But depending on that, that's when I'd do either just Reddit and Twitter, because this only takes like, it doesn't take a lot of time for them to do content. They just need to do literally a few pictures and a few videos, and then I can do Reddit and Twitter. Um, but if they do work a bit more hours in a day, then I'd do IG Reels as well, because IG Reels I only really recommend doing if your model is consistently sending you new reels every single day. You have to be consistent with IG Reels to see results, so just keep that in mind before you start. Um, But yeah, so before I read all of this stuff out, I do want to mention this here. These are traffic sources I recommend doing in general. But as a beginner, you shouldn't try to do all these things at once. Master a traffic source, hire VAs, and automate it. Then move on to the next. Doing it this way, you'll have way more success and more time to focus on each new thing that can bring you more money. So pretty much what I mean by this is, even though I recommend to do all these things for a salary model, you shouldn't just start all of them straight away. Just focus on it one by one. Once you have your content, either start Twitter or start Reddit, whatever you think sounds more appealing to you, or whatever sounds more easy to do for you, or even if you have maybe experience with Twitter already or Reddit already. Start wherever you think you'll see success with faster. Once you've learned it and once you actually understand how the platform works, you've experienced getting banned on Reddit, for example, and you know how to solve the issues now. You know how to not get banned constantly, stuff like that. Once you have like that information, you know how it works. That's when you can then, go and hire a VA to do it for you. You can teach them and automate it, and then you can get multiple VAs to run, let's say, 10 Reddit accounts for you, and then you fully automate it, and you don't have to worry about Reddit. Like, you do obviously still have to talk to your team, but you don't have to worry about doing Reddit yourself. You can just let your VAs do it, and they're bringing traffic in, and then obviously chatting. Like I said, whether you're doing it yourself at the start, or whether you've got your own channels, or whether you've got a Chang agency, you'll be making money from Chang as well. While the Reddit team is doing their thing. So yeah. Now, quickly before I explain this again, with chatting, as a beginner, I would actually recommend using a Chang agency, even though they can take quite a big percentage. I think it's worth, because what I tell people all the time is hire a Chang agency temporarily, learn from them. So like, if they are actually a good Chang agency and they are making you money, learn from them, like how they speak to the models, like what their methods are to get people to buy content, all that stuff. And while you're learning from them, you can hire and teach your own chatters using that Chinese agency's methods, right? And when you feel like that your chatters are ready to start, you can obviously get rid of the agency and then test out your chatters. Obviously, if it doesn't go well, then you can go back to the agency, or you can, keep trying to train them, whatever you want to do. And yeah. So now the marketing. First of all, X/Twitter. It's very simple. Simply just running XBot, tool to automate a retweet for retweet. Literally my most recent video other than this one is about XBot. So if you want a full kind of breakdown of what XBot is, then go watch that. But yeah, scale to 10 accounts, like 9 slaves, 1 main. All slaves funneling the retweets as traffic to their main page. So that's literally all you have to do for XBot. Is just have multiple accounts, sending traffic or retweets to the main page, and obviously the main page will then potentially go viral, bringing you a lot of subscribers per day. It's very simple. This is literally all you have to do. Like, it sounds too easy or too good to be true, but this is actually all you have to do. Literally just run the XBot 24/7. All you have to do is one new pin post per day, and the rest, XBot runs the retweets for you. Next is IG Reels. We usually, when we get a new model, we start with 5 to 10 accounts at the start, and we just, at the moment, the method that we use is just spamming flash new trends. I mentioned this in another previous video. I'm not going to be going full depth into what the flash new trends we use currently are, because I talk more about it in my private group. But just a kind of hint, that is what we do. We just spam flash new trends on every account at the moment. And the good thing with flash news is, like, it's not really like a niche specific thing. Like, any girl can show a bit of nudity in a video, right? So yeah. Now, next thing, or last thing, is Reddit. For Reddit, you usually start around 3 accounts, 3 different niches. Each account, by the way, for Reddit should be a different niche until you're starting to scale to a bigger amount. Obviously, then you can do more of the same niches. But 3 different niches, testing subreddits. Once all accounts are running well, we then scale up to around 5 to 10 accounts. Some of the same niches if they worked well, and some niches. So like I said, those 3 first accounts, if all of the niches did pretty good and they're converting a lot of subscribers, then we'll use them again for like another 3 accounts, and then for the rest of the accounts we'll try out new niches. To, not limit ourselves to like just the same 3 niches, because I think it's quite important to always try to do new niches, like, try sort of be seen by all types of fans, because one niche can be more higher paying than the other. So if you're just sticking to the same 3 niches, you're not really putting yourself out there, putting your model out there as much as you could be. So yeah, but that's pretty much it for the video. I think it's very simple. Like, one main thing that I will recommend, like, give you guys a tip if you're not making 10K a month yet, is just don't overcomplicate it. I feel like like literally 99% of people, including me, when they start, any business, but obviously I'm talking about OFM here, is they overcomplicate way too much things to the point where, you know, they just make too many mistakes. Like, they'll try to do all of these different marketing things at once. They'll try to pay random people for promotions that they don't even know what it's for at this point. And then, they won't, like, they'll kind of forget. Like, the main problem with doing all of these things at once is you sort of forget what you're meant to be doing, or like what you're meant to be focused on, and you don't really see the mistakes you're making. And then it's just like, oh, Twitter's bringing me no subscribers, Reddit bringing me no subscribers, IG bringing me a few subscribers, and you just keep failing. I'm not seeing a lot of results. So yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I've got a private group and a free Telegram. They will both be in the description, so make sure you guys join them. I'll see you later.